Hi, my name is James Shepard, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you about e-commerce merchants and how you can service them as a payment processor. Now, these business types would be described as a company that has a checkout online where people need to go, and they usually are going to go through a shopping experience, add things to a cart, and then they're going to check out. That's called an e-commerce merchant account. The way that these merchants tend to process payments is through an integration with their shopping cart. Now, this has become a bit more complicated in recent years, so let me break this down for you a little bit. The market is still pretty evenly split between e-commerce stores that have a custom integration, usually with a legacy gateway like authorized.net or one of the gateways like maybe NMI or one of these others. And so we have these kind of gateway providers where they have these integrations into these different shopping cart components. You're going to find a lot of e-commerce stores are using something like WordPress. Most of the newer ones are using platforms like Shopify and others where it's more of a full feature software solution. And the software solution is going to have the technology of the shopping cart and the payment processing kind of built into it. So as a general rule, it's going to be much harder to service those merchants and get them to switch off of what they're using in terms of the payment processing. And what you've probably noticed if you're going through this series of videos, you're starting to maybe notice a pattern that we are seeing the market shifting into a direction where there's this binary component of either they're with a fully integrated software solution for their vertical or they're not. And so the question you have to ask yourself is, am I just going to try to get the relationship with the people that still don't have that solution? Or am I actually trying to provide them with that solution, so I have that long-term stickiness of the account? As far as card mix goes, e-commerce merchants are in a class by themselves. And what I mean by that is more of a category by themselves. So when we look at the interchange table, pretty much every interchange category has a special subcategory for e-commerce where there's a slightly higher cost of interchange. So as an example, if I take my credit card and go to my local bike shop and I walk in and I purchase a bicycle for, let's say, $300, and there's a cost of interchange for that transaction, if I take that same card and I go to an e-commerce website and I buy the exact same bicycle for $300 using the same card, there is going to be a higher interchange cost for that transaction. So keep in mind when you're looking at these statements and you're like, well, why is the interchange cost so much higher than my other merchants I would see? That's because it's e-commerce, and again, there's just a lot more fraud that happens in the e-commerce world than there is in the physical location world. So we've got to understand that. So as far as the common pricing goes for e-commerce merchants, this is something I find very interesting. For whatever reason, the e-commerce merchants, because I believe primarily because they kind of came along a little bit later in the game, there have been physical location bicycle shops around for 150 years or something. When we look at that and say, it's really only been the last even really 20 years that it's been a big e-commerce boom, what happened is these e-commerce merchants have never really been educated on the payment processing world and how it works. And as a result, they almost entirely have flat rate forms of pricing. It's pretty rare actually for an e-commerce merchant, unless they're really big, to see them on like an Interchange Plus or even a tiered pricing platform, pricing structure. They usually are going to have some kind of flat rate pricing, and that's unfortunate for them because it's usually not the best pricing structure. But what's happened over the years is that for e-commerce merchants, they've been kind of preconditioned to consider payment processing like a necessary evil, like the cost of payment processing. And they just kind of go with whatever's provided to them through their other software. So if they get a shopping cart solution, then they just say, well, who integrates with the shopping cart? Oh, it's this company and they charge 3.75%, so that's what I pay. Or, oh, I'm going to use, Shopify, and oh, they charge 3.29%. That's what I'm going to do. So they just kind of go with whatever is available for the software that they want. And so where there's a big opportunity here is a couple of things. Number one, those smaller e-commerce merchants, going to them with a solution that actually is a good solution that competes with Shopify. The other thing would be to go to people that already have maybe an authorized.net or another solution that integrates with their shopping cart, and offer them to go to a more transparent Interchange Plus pricing structure where they can actually pay a much lower cost. And you're going to find that is especially interesting to e-commerce merchants that are getting larger and larger. You go after e-commerce merchants that are doing 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 a month in volume. Many of them hadn't really thought as much about the payment processing, but now every month they're seeing that they're seeing that cost of, whatever it is, they're paying $20,000 a month or something like that, they start to go, wait a second, hold on, why are we paying $20,000 a month? Could we pay $16,000? So now they're more interested in looking into that cost, and so you can help them with that. Our sponsor for this video, and really this entire series of talking about different merchant types and helping to understand those, is going to be ISOAMP. So if you check out getisoamp.com, I want to talk for a second about the training. Understanding topics like e-commerce merchants, interchange optimization, all of these topics can be very complicated. We have a bunch of training courses available at getisoamp.com. You can register and get access to these training courses, but you can also provide these training courses in a learning management system to your entire team to get them all trained up to really understand this complex payments industry. My name is James Shepard. I wish you great success as you get out there and try to sell e-commerce merchants and build that portfolio. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.